Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you guys saw my bookshelf organization video, you might have seen the fact that I have all of these books over here that I need to decide if I want to unhaul. My bookshelves are completely jam-packed full, as much as they can be. And so these were all of the books that I sort of put aside because I feel like I don't really need to hold on to them, but I'm not sure. So before I moved into this apartment, I actually unhauled like 200 books because I knew that I was going to be moving all of the books myself from my old place to this one. So I went through everything, unhauled like 200 books, and these are books that survived that unhaul. These are ones that I wanted to hold on to, but obviously since getting in here, I realized I don't have enough room for all of these. I have no idea how all of these used to fit in my bookshelves. Part of the reason I think was that I just sort of had books stacked all around my apartment in random places, and I don't really want to do that anymore because I think it looks super messy. And so when I do eventually get another bookshelf in here, I don't want to just immediately fill it jam-packed with books. I want there to be empty room so that I can get new books and have a place to put them. So these are all the ones that I do need to go through and decide if I want to keep them or not. You guys seemed very interested in seeing that. I actually don't think that I have filmed an unhaul in like 5 years. It's been so long since I have filmed an unhaul for my channel, so I'm excited. These are all ones that I have already read. These are all ones that I have held onto through all of my unhauls. Whenever I am like deciding between unhauling books that I've read, I sort of think about if it's a favorite book that I really want to hold on to. If it's a book that I ever think I will talk about in a video again, then I will probably lean towards keeping it. Or if it's a book that I potentially want to reread. Okay, so this first little section that we can decide are ones that I gave 3 stars or lower. Most of these were 3 stars, so I don't have super strong opinions about them. The Winter Duke, I think I'm gonna get rid of. I just didn't really care about that book at all. Space Opera, I'm getting rid of. I can't even remember if I finished this. If I did finish it, I know I didn't like it, but it's possible that I DNF'd it. Unsure, but we're getting rid of it. Trigger Warning by Neil Gaiman. I read this so long ago, I can't really remember what I thought about it. It's a collection of like short essays. Honestly, don't know why I've kept that for so long. So we're getting rid of that. And then these two, the Guinevere Deception and then The Shadows Between Us. I gave both of these 3 stars, but I think I want to keep them because they were gifts from people. So I think for now I'm going to hold on to these. So the next little section is the Cruel Prince series. So I am going to get rid of all of my copies of these. So I have 2 copies of The Cruel Prince. Why do I have multiple copies of these? I don't know. And then I have an ARC and then a finished copy of Wicked King. I never bought the 3rd book, even though I did read it. I don't know, I liked this series when it was coming out. I enjoyed reading them. I had a good time with this series. However, I don't think I'm never gonna reread it. I'm never gonna buy the 3rd book because I've already read it and I just don't care enough to own it. And I never talk about these in videos, so there's really no reason for me to have all of these copies. So we are getting rid of all of those. Okay, this next little stack are books that I did enjoy, but I don't really feel like I have a super strong emotional attachment to any of them. So these 3 are all ARCs. So just because of that, I think I'm gonna get rid of all of them. They're all queer books, and I feel like I would much rather donate these to like a classroom or a library. I did enjoy all of them, but there's really no reason for me to still have them. The Thief by Megan Whalen Turner. I really enjoyed this book and I was excited to continue with the series, but I think that was like 4 years ago and I've never made any moves to do that. I don't own any of the other books in this series, so I think I'm gonna get rid of this. Vengeance Road by Erin Bowman. I really enjoyed this book when I read it. It is signed. I met Erin Bowman and she signed it. I think that I want to keep this. I'm probably never gonna reread it, but I remember really liking it. No, I should get rid of it. Oh my god, okay, I should just get rid of it. The next 4 are also ARCs, which I probably am just gonna be getting rid of these again for that reason. I enjoyed all of them. So we have 10 Blind Dates, Mirage, which I really loved. I need to read the sequel for this. The Downstairs Girl, I'm definitely getting rid of this. I enjoyed it, but I do have a finished copy of it somewhere, so no reason for me to have that. And then Undead Girl Gang, again, I enjoyed this. It was fun, but I don't really like to hold on to arcs. So we're getting rid of all of those. Then we have Finding Audrey and Watch Over Me. I think I'm gonna get rid of this. I only gave it 3 stars. It was fine. It was definitely not my favorite Nina LaCour book, and I have a couple of her books in these piles. So if I am gonna get rid of one, it's gonna be this one. And then Finding Audrey, I remember that I liked this. However, I've never thought about it again, nor have I ever talked about it in a video again. So time to get rid of that. And then we have The Sun Is Also a Star. I loved this book, so I think I'm going to keep this one, even though I probably am not going to reread it, nor do I really talk about YA contemporary in my videos. I have a strong emotional attachment to this book, so I think I'm gonna keep it. So this video is being sponsored by Mudwater. So Mudwater is a coffee alternative with 4 adaptogenic mushrooms and Ayurvedic herbs. It is a drinkable ritual that addresses mind, body, and soul. It is very customizable with how you use it. You can add a tablespoon to hot water and then whatever else you personally like to enjoy it. So Mudwater gives you the ritual of your morning coffee without the anxiety, jitters, or crash. It has 1/7 the caffeine of a cup of coffee, but provides you with a great source of energy, and you can drink it all day without it impacting your sleep. So they kindly sent me their starter kit, which comes with a 30 serving tin of the mud, as well as a frother and a sample of their vegan coconut creamer. So I have been drinking this for the past couple of weeks, and it definitely took a little bit of experimentation for me to figure out exactly how I like it. And that's one of the things that I enjoy about it, is that it is something that you can either drink on its own, just add it to hot water and you're done, or you can add whatever else you like to it. Personally, I like to make it the exact same way that I typically make my coffee. So I put a tablespoon of this into hot water, mix it up, and then I add a splash of my regular coffee creamer. It has a very strong cinnamon flavor to it. I would say that the thing that it most reminds me of is like a chai latte, but it's not exactly the same as that. And it definitely gave me so much energy, and it felt more like a natural type of energy. In the little booklet that they send you, it breaks down every single ingredient that is in here and some of the benefits to it. So it has ingredients such as cacao, chai, lion's mane, chaga. Also in the booklet, they have some recipes that I've been trying out, so you can learn how to make a latte with it, a shake. It is 100% USD certified organic and non-GMO, as well as it is gluten-free and vegan. So you can try Mudwater today and get 15% off by clicking the link in my description and using my code Riley Marie. And thank you to Mudwater for sponsoring this video. Okay, the next stack are ones that I really don't have opinions on, so I'm just gonna get rid of them. This is the stack. We have Anna K, which was fine, but I have no opinion on it. Oh, why is this in the stack? Bloom, which is a graphic novel. I really liked this. However, this is an arc, and again, I don't really like to hold on to arcs. I've also pretty much got rid of all of my graphic novels just because I don't really read them that much anymore. And when I do, I'd rather just get them from the library. So I think I'm gonna get rid of this, even though I did really enjoy this. If You Come Softly, I liked this, but again, I don't have strong feelings about it. The Great Gatsby, I don't know why I've held on to this, especially like this edition, which is super ugly. I think I got this in high school. I don't know why I've held on to it for so long. I couldn't care less about The Great Gatsby. And then we have a bunch of like little books. So we have The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn, which I've read 2 or 3 times. I like it, but I don't think enough to like hold on to it. Kindred Spirits, getting rid of. I think I've gotten rid of all of my Rainbow Rowell books. Although I do have really funny memories with this because I ordered 1 copy and they sent me 100. If I can find a picture of it, I will. It was the funniest thing ever. And so when I went to BEA that year, I brought them all with me and I just like was handing them out to people. The only time in my life that that has ever happened, where I ordered 1 thing and they sent me 100 of them. And then We Should All Be Feminists. I liked this when I read it. Since then though, I have liked it less, and there's no reason for me to keep it. Okay, next are books that I really liked. Most of them I gave 4 or 5 stars. So the first 2 are Nevermore and Wondersmith. Okay, I love these books. I'm gonna keep them. The reason why I put them over here is because I do not have a middle grade section at all on my bookshelves. I don't have any middle grade books that I've held on to. These were the only ones, so they didn't have a spot. But I really love these. They have the most like magical, whimsical, fun feeling to them, and I think I do want to hold on to them. Then we have Eliza and Her Monsters. I really loved this book when I read it, but since then, I don't think I've thought about it at all. I think it was a really good book, but I don't see a need to keep it. Next is Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. I loved this book. I'm so excited for this series. However, I do think I'm going to get rid of this copy because, as you can see, it's an ARC, and I do eventually want to get a finished copy of it. Then we have They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I loved this book. I'm gonna keep this. I really loved this book. Like, this was a book that made me feel so many emotions. Because of that, I want to hold on to it. Sky in the Deep. I think I'm gonna get rid of this. I did really like it. It's a fun Viking book. However, like I keep saying, I don't really have an emotional attachment to it. I think I only gave it 4 stars. I don't plan on ever rereading it. It was fine. It was good. Good for the time. I don't think I'm going to go back to it at any point. The next one is Written in Red. I loved this book. This is the first book in a pretty long series that I have not continued at all. So I think I'm gonna get rid of this because of that. There's like, I want to say like 8 books in this series. I have not made any effort to read the rest of the series. If I ever did, I would have to reread this book because it's been like 7 years since I have read this. So I think I'm gonna get rid of it. If at some point in the future I do decide I want to come back to the series, I will just get it from the library. An Enchantment of Ravens. I think I'm gonna get rid of this. I did really like this book. However, I read Sorcery of Thorn by this author, didn't like it. I unhauled that already. I just don't see a need to keep this. You're gonna see a really big trend here. I'm getting rid of a lot of YA books because the YA section on my bookshelves is so small, and it's really pared down to my absolute favorite YA books, and then YA books that I've gotten recently that I'm still very excited to read. So anything else, I'm just kind of parting ways with. And speaking of that, we have Wicked Saints. I'm gonna get rid of this. I actually thought that I got rid of this before I moved here. It was supposed to be in my original unhaul, but somehow it stayed. And then we have Song of Blood and Stone. This is an adult like fantasy romance that I really liked. However, if I do continue to read this series, they have had cover changes and they all come out in paperback now also. So I think that if I do for some reason want to continue the series, I will just get the paperbacks with the new covers. This next little section of books holds a lot of emotional value for me. So these are all YA queer books that I read when I first came out like 6 years ago. I spent like a couple months reading as many queer books as I could get my hands on, and most of these were amongst those. I just wanted to learn a lot about the queer community, and these books really helped me do that, so I hold a very strong like sentimental attachment to these. However, they're just sitting on my shelf collecting dust. I don't talk about these books ever. These books helped me so much that I would much rather give them to a school or a library. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say I'm getting rid of all of these. We have Simon and the Homo Sapiens Agenda, Highly Illogical Behavior, How to Make a Wish, Autobiography, Ari and Dante, Queens of Geek, We Are Okay, If I Was Your Girl, and Little and Lion. So I'm getting rid of all of those. The only one that I think I'm gonna keep is Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour, because this is the actual first queer book that I ever read. Because of that, this one I hold the strongest sentimental attachment to, and I really wanna keep this. But the rest, I will be getting rid of. And this last stack that I have are all older YA books that I read in high school that I've held onto because of nostalgia. So we have the Legend trilogy, which I'm going to get rid of. I really liked this trilogy when it came out, but I'm never gonna reread it. Under the Never Sky, again, I loved these books so much, but I'm not gonna reread them. Hex Hall, this series was super fun, very much like Halloween Town vibes, but again, I don't need to keep them. The Conspiracy of Us trilogy, which is a very fun, like, treasure hunting YA series. Then we have some middle grade books that I liked, but I don't need to hold on to. Lastly, we have the Hunger Games trilogy, which again, loved, but I'm not gonna read them again. We're gonna get rid of all of those. Okay, those were all of the books that I have read. I feel like I'm doing good. This is the stack that I am keeping. 7? I'm only keeping 7, which is pretty good.